Look at the camera, but look
We're
at
live. Hello, this is Tara Nolan from transformationtara.com, and I'm here with, as you can see, Bonnie B. And grateful to have you, Bonnie. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you, Tara. I'm glad to be here.
So Bonnie did some work with me a couple years ago, even just a year and a half ago. Everything ended, I think. And we went through some yoga trainings together and some deep level coaching, some one-on-one work and some group work in shorter mastermind program. And I mean, this is part of our project right now of looking at, like, when you do a coaching program, it's not always that you just get the support in the time that you're in that program. It's what happens later. And Bonnie is such an inspiration because she changed her life so dramatically in like every way possible, like living environment, relationship, health and weight loss, career. And, you know, I just want this to be an opportunity for people to learn like how she did it and what happens and how when you do put the time in to work on yourself or do a coaching program or work in, you know, with transformation coaching with in our tribe, how it impacts you for years to come. So let's just take a quick look at life for Bonnie, like before you were working with us. So go back a few years or more, I guess it's like 7 years before we met. And what was life like?
Well, as I was mentioning just briefly before we started, you and I met the first time. Your daughter was brand new. I was a new grandmother. They're within a month or two of each other as far as age goes. And you were teaching at a Lululemon store in Milwaukee. And I went to your class and bought your DVDs afterward, got on your email list, and started paying attention to your emails over a couple of years. Go ahead.
So what I want to know is what was life like for you at that time?
Okay. So, I mean, I was busy working. By the time I retired, it was over 33 years at the same financial services insurance industry. And busy working, practicing yoga, trying to, juggle, life in general. It was just busy. Life was busy. And I was just on the roller coaster of life thinking, just keep going. And the thing that really I did for myself was the yoga. And I started thinking as I was getting closer to retirement, this is what I want to do. Go ahead.
So let's just get really a clear snapshot of what life was like then. So you were working, you were super busy, and you said you were on that wheel of life. So things were just going and going, and you're just kind of waiting for retirement to happen.
I was, yes.
Yeah. And what about and yoga was an outlet?
It was.
Was it helping with stress? Were you having stress?
Oh, definitely. Okay. Huge stress reliever.
Stressed out. And physically and health wise, were you where you wanted to be?
I was, definitely in menopause, and I was, starting to put on some weight and continue to the same activity the way I had for years, and was starting to feel more sluggish. However, then I started learning more about different nutritional things, including optimizing vitamin D and things like that. And because I've always been so interested in that type of thing, and I started feeling better, but again, I just kept thinking something's not exactly where I want it to be yet. And my husband for years has been wanting to leave the Midwest. We lived in Milwaukee for almost 4 decades.
Okay, so just before you go ahead, I know you're ready to share the story and I'm excited, but I want to stay in where we're at. So living in Milwaukee, working like crazy, feeling stressed out, feeling a little overweight. You're starting to share that your husband was not thrilled with the living situation. A long, great marriage, but probably all of this impacts that too.
It does, because I was not on board with him. I was like, no, we got to stay here. But the house is paid for. I had all these reasons in my head. The house is paid for. This is where our life is. I can't see us leaving. I just couldn't see it.
Yeah. So you and your husband had different ideas of where you wanted to go and what was possible. Of course, that impacts, relationship and interaction. Yeah. So you were reaching out for different ways to feel better, like searching out for vitamin D and understanding the supplements and going to yoga classes. But I think the point is these are awesome ways, but they can be like mini fixes, right? Like they make a little difference, but not like the big difference.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
But I also think sometimes you have to take a few small steps to make that big one
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
later.
I'm a
A
huge
little later.
proponent of it.
Yeah.
Um, we have Sarah Jo on. Hi, Sarah Jo. Thanks for tuning in. She's waving. She's giving us some loves.
Nice.
So when you started working with me, what would you say out of what, like looking again, like stepping back in time, because we're
Mhm.
going to get to where you're at now, but stepping back
Right.
in time, what were there any problems that you were trying to solve, or what made you really be drawn to working
Well,
with me and with the transformation coaching?
and of course, the first part was the yoga training. It's like, to me, as I was looking at different yoga teacher training programs, you're the one that popped in my head. So, and I really didn't, that to me, it was just like a gut instinct that you're the one I was supposed to go to. So we did that during COVID lockdowns. Most of it, if you recall, we did most of that in 2020 through Zoom and online. And then we had our 2-week immersive.
So
And
what
then
what were the problems, darling?
okay,
Not what you did
so
with yoga, but what were the
yeah.
problems you were
So the
facing when
problem
you started to
was,
work with me?
what am I going to do with this now? Where am I going to take my yoga into
Okay.
retirement? And that's what that was the main reason I joined with you. Is like, I just couldn't see how I was going to make this work for
That's
me.
beautiful. So
Uh-huh.
you found a passion that you had. So whether it's
Mhm.
yoga or anything else for people,
Right.
this is something you can do, is step into a coaching program to have someone help guide you as to what are you going to do with it? It's something that
Mhm.
matters to you. It's something that's meaningful, and you want to help other people in some way.
Exactly. And that was a conversation I had with my husband. I said, okay, great. I did this program, but now what? What do I do with it? And I said, I think this is where I can get the help.
Yeah.
Was with the 90-day coaching I did with you.
Yeah.
The transformation program. And the thing that, can I just say real quickly, that what's so unique about having you as a coach is very different than a friend. Friends are always going to support you and tell you what you want to hear. But a coach can take that step back and make you dig deep, even into the uncomfortable spots. Things that maybe, yeah, you really don't want to go there, but it's like, well, maybe I better. And but friends typically don't get that deep with you. So
Oh
I think
no,
that was,
it's not comfortable. I mean,
no.
it's not a comfortable conversation for friends. I don't think that they can. Like, honestly, when you're investing with me, I know that you've now allowed me to be in that space of,
Mhm.
helping you to dig deeper and pull out the dream that's inside of you in a way that friends might agree with you that, yeah, of course, that doesn't make sense. And yeah, that'll be easier. Friends just kind of go along with you. They
Right.
love you and they're on your side.
Mhm.
They're also not trained in that way to like stand up against you. And it might upset you and hurt the friendship because it's not the right time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And they're just not going to give you the kind of pushback or hold the mirror up and make you look deep, which is what I think the program with you did. And it over the period of weeks that we work together, and you have a team of people, it's not just you bring in other people that are such a huge help. And they all have various levels of expertise that is wonderful as far as how they can help really get into the relationship stuff and into the technical stuff as far as like, how to write, how to do copywriting. I mean, things like that even came in with your program.
Yeah.
And so that was fantastic because a lot of it is, okay, I know where I want to go, but like I need step by step. How do I do
Step
it?
by
And
step.
mhm.
Yes. I want to have people know that they have a hand there waiting to hold them by the hand, whether it's me and or my team. There's always
Mhm.
someone there to guide you.
Mhm.
And that's important because this journey of a solopreneur or entrepreneur can be
Mhm.
just that, like a lonely journey, very solo. And
Mhm.
it's hard to stay committed and excited and passionate every day to move forward without someone there saying, this is your next step. Did you get
Right.
that done? Like the accountability is huge, I think.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. And then during that program, and my husband was getting close to his retirement. I had already retired then. By the time I finished the yoga teacher training, I took like 6 weeks off, and then I started with you the day of my retirement. That's
Yep,
when I
that was your
started that
plan.
program.
That
That was
was
my
your
plan.
plan.
I
Get
started
all
with you
ready.
that day. And then during those next few months, stuff started just coming to me. That's
It's
the thing.
really
It's like, where was it? I mean, is it my guardian angel? Is it just instinct? Something was coming to me. It's like all of a sudden one day I just said to my husband, we need to move. We need to move now. And he was like, yes.
Well, I remember how that went. You were on the phone with me saying, oh, in 5 years. And I actually was like, why 5
Wow.
years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why 5 years, Bonnie? And you're like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
this,
yeah.
this,
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I was like, no, that's all bullshit. You know,
It is.
that's not real.
And I'll tell you what, when you bring your mind to it, I mean, we lived in that house 36 years, a house with a basement. So it was full of stuff. We got out of that house and moved from Wisconsin to Florida in 6 months. I don't know how it happened, but we did it.
So I guess that's where I love that you're sharing the process of how it happened. There's so much I could comment on this. One, you received all kinds of new ideas and clarity and everything, and you're like, where did these ideas come from? And I really try to explain that to people when they're first stepping into a program. They're like, but I don't know what I want to do, but I don't know how it's going to work. I'm not clear on it. Maybe I should get clear first. And I was like, I try to explain, no, this is why you need the program, because you get clear.
Yeah. And it's so subtle the way it comes to you. And like little thoughts start coming into your brain, and then you find yourself looking at, doing some research on YouTube and doing some research over here, and it's like, well, that's something I never would have done like that before, perhaps. And then we decided to come to Florida. We gave the house to the realtor on one weekend. Came to Florida for a week. The house sold that weekend. And we moved back home to Wisconsin for 6 weeks. Didn't have a house, bought it online. First time we saw it, we owned it. And it's been excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
And that happens. I just want to tune into these moments of what you're sharing when you're sharing your story. That happens because you start removing those barriers and blocks to why you can't, and you start trusting yourself on a whole new level. And then you can make decisions quickly. Yep. And that's why even when people are going to step forward to enroll with me, I ask them to enroll on the call, because it is a new training of the brain to say, I'm going to start trusting myself and saying yes now. And then you can make things happen very quickly in your life, which is, it's the powerful transformation. So I think people are getting a sneak preview of what life's like now for you, but looking at life then, I'm just going to recap. Busy corporate insurance compliance specialist, working like crazy, not on the same page with your husband as to where the future was going or how quickly, and not having enough time for you. You did have some, but it was so busy on the wheel of life, and seeking solace with yoga and trying to find new supplements to eat better, which was helpful, but still you're not losing the weight you wanted with menopause happening. And that impacts your psyche too.
Oh,
I mean, it really does. It really impacts the emotional realm, the emotional well-being, when you're not feeling as good physically. I mean, how you feel about how you look and how you actually feel in your energy levels. And so you're a little sluggish. So now you stopped coaching. We ended our coaching program. You graduated a year and a half ago. So what is life like now?
Okay. So perhaps I don't have the weekly coaching the way I do, but that stuff sticks with you. It changes your thought patterns, and which is what you want. You want to, it's that whole concept of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's not going to happen. You have to change and be willing to trust, well, this feels weird and different and odd. And even the way we changed the way we ate, at first it was like, okay, this is kind of different, eating low carb, and it's like you're trained for all those years that fat is bad for you, and it's like, okay, we'll trust this, and all of a sudden it's like, bam, the weight just fell off. It's like, and my husband's down like 40 pounds, which is fantastic, and it's just like, wow.
And how much are you down?
I'm down about 15. I mean, I was kind of on the high end of normal weight, but now I'm definitely, my BMI is about 21, so I'm pretty good.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. I mean, let's give some hearts and thumbs up for this, viewers, because as we get older as women, it's not typical to go down in weight instead of up, and you are lowering your body mass index, increasing your muscle mass, feeling better about yourself. Okay. So you've lost 15 pounds, your husband's down 40 pounds, and you've kept that off now, and you're living in Florida.
learning how to golf,
Learning how to
teaching
golf,
yoga.
learning new things. I love
Yes,
it.
teaching yoga live classes.
Teaching
Here
yoga.
in my community where I live, I get 26, 30 people in a class. It's
Oh my
huge.
God,
It's huge.
amazing.
And so most of the summer I did a lot of substitute teaching. And when the classes ended, one lady came up to me at a different class that I was a student at, and she goes, I have to tell you, thank you. Thank you for teaching us this summer. It was excellent. She really appreciated it. And then people say, well, where can I find you? Where can I find you? I want to follow you. I want to start doing yoga with you. And so that's going to be happening for sure by January. I know it's going to happen. I said it out loud. I'm going to have my Yoga with Bonnie B YouTube channel running by then. Got a few things happening this fall, but
so if you're
I'll
watching this, can people go and start following you now, even though content's not rolling yet?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and on Facebook is Yoga with Bonnie B. And then I have my channel started with YouTube. I just don't have any videos posted yet. And so basically the main part of my name is Yoga with Bonnie B -- be your best over 50. So that's my
over 50.
That's my niche are people 50 and older who really, so a lot of people are afraid of yoga, or if they hear it's good for you and they just don't understand. And yeah.
And when we first talked that day, I remember it was my birthday.
Yes.
2 years ago, about you getting into a coaching program with me.
Mm-hmm.
When we first talked, that was, like I said, I don't know, 4 years ago. If I would have told you 5 years later, you'd be in Florida teaching yoga, retired, having your starting your YouTube channel on Instagram.
I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it. I would have been like, no, that's not possible. And
you're gonna be 15 pounds less. Your husband's gonna lose weight. You're gonna be golfing in the sunshine.
The other thing, I mean, honestly, right before while I was in the yoga training with you, because that went on for a long time, just because of COVID, we had to do things slower. And that's when I announced at work I was retiring. It's like, I knew then and there it was time to retire. And before we hadn't got into the full-on coaching.
Well, what happens, and again, to share this with people watching, is that you actually, when you do this kind of work, you get a little more out of your brain and into your heart. And you might start for the first time listening to what you're feeling rather than what you should do and the pros and cons, because we spin in our minds and go on and on and on about how we should do things, trying to figure it out. I just want to say to anyone watching, stop trying to figure it out. You can anyway. Stop trying to figure it out and start allowing yourself to feel. Because what happens in the programs that we did together, whether it was yoga or coaching or different times, as I know with Bonnie and with hundreds of the people I've worked with, it's you get these ideas, you get this opening in your heart and in your mind because you now allow it to be possible. When you are so busy on the wheel of life and your brain is spinning and you're thinking, even if you really, really want to change and you're trying to figure it out, I'm sorry, you won't figure it out until you actually stop and do something different. And that is where a third party comes in a coaching program, and a community of women can be so amazing to support, or community of anyone. Community can be so helpful.
Very true. And then it becomes part of it. Starts like making little nudges in your brain, and until you take action, it's going to be there. That feeling something's not right. I got to take that action. And, yeah. And so once that gets opened up and you start and it's like, the other thing I keep remembering, you say this all the time, everything happens when it's supposed to. So the timing is right for everything. And so if somebody's watching this and they maybe had never tuned into you before, maybe the timing's right for them. Maybe they were supposed to see this particular video.
Oh, I definitely believe that. What about, were you skeptical to first get in a coaching program and make an investment? I mean, it's a high investment in yourself that I think is really, something to swallow for people. Like, it's a big, like, am I really going to invest in myself in this way? Is this going to be worth it? Like, should I do this? Yeah.
Definitely. It's something that for many people, it'll make you pause and think, but then it's like, but if you trade off the years that you lose trying to figure things out by yourself,
Oh my God, yes.
I think that's kind of where, and that's when I explained to my husband that I wanted to do this program with you. I said, I could be spinning my wheels for a few years trying to figure it out, where I think I could do it quicker with Tara's help. And then he's like, all right, go for it. So he's always supported. He's always supported, all the different educational, like another, going way back. I mean, part of it is who I am. If there was something missing in my life that I felt I had to have, like different educational degrees, I made sure I got them. And it took a long, and it was hard.
This is the point. Only you know what you need, and only you can tune into your soul and say, this feels right. Like you said, to work with me, it was a gut instinct. You said, I feel like this is right. I'm going to trust myself and do that. And whether it was me or someone else. And that is something that, a lot of women or men will say, I have to talk to my spouse first. And of course you can't, that's great. It's no secret. But if you're doing it to get their permission or to have them help you make the decision, it doesn't work. You have to know that no one else is going to know what's right for you. You have to know in your heart that this is like, I'm ready for something more, and I'm ready to open myself up for this possibility. And I don't think anyone else can possibly understand that, because it's your soul's journey.
That's right. That's right. However, in our situation, we've always just had that respect for each other, that we're going to spend a significant amount of money, that we're going to discuss it. And we always support each other. I mean, and he did. And I had, my logic, made sense. It's like, I don't want to spin my wheels for a few years. And I think the fact that we live here now, he's like, oh, that was so worth it.
That's the thing. The husbands are always thrilled afterwards. Like at first they're skeptical, and then they're like, their life changes in some way amazing.
And now so he was 65 years old when we moved here last year. And now I'm thinking, I can't imagine doing this when he was 70. So
yeah,
what was I thinking about?
What if you'd waited?
We have our health when we have our health, and you better take action when you can, because you just never know when things might switch on a dime. And
what would you say to someone watching this says, I love this. It's really inspiring. So now I'm just going to go try to do it on my own.
Well, oh goodness. Okay. You can get overwhelmed because there's so much info out there, and one person's going to say, do it this way. Someone else is going to say, do it that way. And if you start signing up for this and signing up for that, next thing you know, you spend a ton of money on all these programs that you maybe got halfway through or started and didn't finish. Rather than do that, just take a deep breath, step back, and just say, I'm going to go all in on one thing, and try it that way.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think if you could do it by yourself, you already would have. You'd already be there. Like to say, but I'm so, and these are all like mini steps to keep you safe. And it's really important to get outside your comfort zone. And Bonnie, I'm so excited for you to be. You're just getting ready to be ready.
I know.
The Yoga with Bonnie B. Aren't you guys excited to be able to see her online? She is an amazing yoga teacher, one of the top in the class when I did her training. And now it's years later. So I know you are so much better. You can tell you just put so much care and heart and perfectionism, into what you do, that I know that you put.
So let me tell you something else that happens to me. And I think part of this came from the way you taught us in yoga training. For instance, when we did our final exam, there was no notes allowed. We had to do it from basically either our memory or our gut instinct. And you teach us the whole pattern, and when you think about it, yoga is our life's journey. You start off as a child, you move up through your peak adulthood, and then you make your way back down to your savasana, to your corpse pose. And when you follow that pattern in your yoga class, in your life, and just realize that you can trust your instincts, that you know what's coming next, it's rare, Tara, that I have a class planned out. Rare. Yeah. Rare. I mean, I just go in, I know I have an idea of where I'm headed for my peak in that day's class, and we go for it.
So what I like about sharing that is that it's really that you've developed a new confidence in yourself that you didn't know that you could have done before. Like,
Right.
you know, and that's really what it is. It's really anything that I do is really coaching, not even on the specific thing people think it is. It's not specific on yoga, on building your business, on helping your relationship, on getting healthier. It's on your way of being, because when you coach on the way of being, it impacts everything. And now you have
Right.
more confidence that, yes, you have a framework and an understanding, but you have more confidence to step in that room and say, I know my shit. I got it.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can step into your life and say, I got it.
Yep.
And then
Exactly.
trust the
Yeah.
decisions that you make.
Hmm. And yeah, you're, and that's what it boils down to, is that confidence in yourself. And so much of our life, people tell you, oh, you can't do, who do you think you are? You can't do that. And that those little
Right.
bits from our childhood get stuck in your brain, and good luck getting them out, because they want to rear up. So it's one of those daily, and again, the whole concept of doing some affirmations and thinking in terms of the positive. For instance, I do my best now. When my husband's running off to the store, rather than saying, don't forget XYZ, I'll say, remember XYZ. The way I say it. Because if I say, don't forget, he's probably going to forget, because the forget is what's stuck in his brain.
Yeah, it's how we talk to ourselves throughout our lives too. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I don't want to get sick, or I'm going to be healthy, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
anything, with abundance,
Mhm.
with money, with everything, you know.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah, the universe hears the message, so we've got to say it in the right way, and we hear it in our own
Mhm.
mind and brain. We've heard your thoughts create, you know, your actions.
Mhm.
Your thoughts create your beliefs, and it
Mhm.
really impacts how you live your life. And every decision you make today impacts your future. So it's important to get on that right path that's going to
Mhm.
take you where you ultimately want to go. You
And
better know
when
where
you
you
do,
want to go.
exactly, and when you do get thrown curveballs, just realize it was given to you for a reason, and
Yeah.
and it's a blessing. And what can you learn from it? And you might even come out on the other side better than what you thought.
And one thing we know for sure is we will be thrown curveballs.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Mhm.
So
And so
it's
just
going to happen.
don't let them stop you. It's
No, let them be
it's
there
just it's
for
just
you.
it's just like, okay, I'm supposed to learn something from this, or something's supposed to
Yes.
change in me or somebody around me or something because of this.
What if
So I'm
the people coming in your life, the challenges coming in your life, the curveballs, as you put it, are all there to help direct and guide you to where you're ultimately supposed to go. And you can
Mhm.
continue to be resistant and say, no, 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 because you have free will,
Mhm.
and make life harder. Or you can say, like you said, I love it. You said, get curious about it. Where is
Yep.
this actually guiding me to go?
And so many people take the attitude, oh, woe is me, why me? No. Just say, why not me? Bad things are going to happen to everybody, or
Yeah.
and you just take a deep breath. And that's the other thing that I try to teach my students when they're in the class. I get them breathing, and I say, remember this, take it with you off the mat. So when you get stressed out, you breathe.
Taking
Hmm.
a deep breath.
Hmm. Yes.
I love that practice. Let's do that
Mhm.
right now. Let's do that right now. I'm just feeling the need.
Okay.
Everyone watching, let's just
Mhm.
take a moment. If you're here with us, if you're watching the replay, it doesn't matter. I want you to just feel the difference of like sitting down or standing, doesn't matter. Not if you're driving, but just relax your shoulders down from your ears and take a nice,
Mhm.
slow breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Nice, slow breath out.
Just fantastic.
Right? It's like it's
Hmm.
2 seconds.
Hmm.
And imagine doing it a few times and it shifts your mind state.
Hmm. And it may make you stay quiet for a moment or two, so you don't say something you wish you wouldn't have.
And your mind's not spinning. So you
Hmm.
can start to move from that thinking to feeling
Hmm.
and choosing how you want to feel, choosing how you want to live your
Hmm.
life and make decisions that align with what your heart's actually calling for.
Exactly. Sums
Yeah.
it up very well, Tara.
So with that, is there any last advice you want to give, or what anyone should know about working with the Transformation Terra team?
Uh, once once you decide that this is something that you know in your heart you need to do, figure out a way to make it work. And you'll, okay. I don't want to say no, you won't. I want to say you will be very grateful that you did, because you're going to be amazed. And even things that you didn't expect to come out of it will pop out. I did not expect the whole realization it's time to move and it's time to move now. I did not expect that. So that surprised the heck out of me that was going to happen to me. And it did. So just be open to the possibilities.
I love that. So beautiful. Be open to possibilities. You never know what it's going to bring you to, but it does bring you to your happiness and your joy, as Bonnie is a beautiful example. Even a year and a half later, how it's continued to impact her life and the changes she's made. So empowering. So with that, we will close up. And I just want to say thank you, Bonnie, for allowing me to be a part of your journey. It's been an absolute honor. You are a blessing to all the people you touch. And I love that you are sharing your gifts now in yoga and joy with your husband and your family and grandchildren and beyond. And thank you for sharing and taking this time today to help anyone else who's watching who's looking for a change or to build a business or get in tune with their purpose.
Thank you, Tara. It was my honor to be part of this with you today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.